Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to our new vlog series, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Mysteries. I'm Alex.
I'm Kellz.
And yeah, this is the first of many. We're gonna go through the game, talk a little bit about the game, and each week we're gonna tackle one sort of like, almost like, I don't know, like
a question.
Yeah,
an overarching question about the theme.
Yeah, we're always trying to make it sort of, we're always trying to make you think.
Smart.
Yeah,
it's a smart
make
show.
you think critically. And so like, we're gonna just kind of, sometimes it's gonna be a stretch, but it's gonna be fun anyway to talk about.
Yeah.
So first, since this is the first one, let's just talk about what we think of Oros versus the originals. Like,
right.
is it a good remake?
Well, if you haven't played the game so far, we are going to be talking about the basics of like the opening of the game today. So if you don't want to hear about that, you can go on to another video that we've done.
Yeah.
There's a secret Magnazone blooper reel in the Magnazone comments area.
Yeah.
That you can go watch. So if you don't want to know the spoilers about the beginning of Oros and you haven't played it yet, then go watch that because that's fun.
Yeah, quick word about spoilers. We're only going to spoil up to as far as we mention in the like video title. So you don't have to worry, like, and you can kind of play along with us if you play really slowly. But last time it took us like 6 months to do it. So
we're gonna go through a little faster this time.
So this time we're gonna just talk about generally like, were we happy with it as a remake? My short answer is like, yes, they did a really, really good job of like making this feel like a new game that came out this year, but it's very, very faithful to like the game from before. But
sometimes too much so.
Sometimes too much so?
We'll get to that though.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Though.
But visually,
there's like a specific episode I'm going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, it's all in my brain.
Oh yeah, but visually though, like all that kind of stuff, visuals, music, like Pokemon animations, everything like that is so awesome.
It's
like,
very nice.
Like, I love, you know, the classic, like, going up through the grass.
Yeah, the reanimation of the first scene is it's very true to it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I love that right as you step out of Little Root Town, it's like that little like pool and the little
that little pool in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's up at the top of that root.
Yeah,
so that's really fun. Well, let's see. Okay, well I have Sapphire and you've got
I've got Ruby. I'm playing through Ruby. I have both of them, but I'm playing through Ruby right now.
Yeah, like that's the official.
Yeah.
Our official. I'm the Alpha Sapphire expert. He's the Omega Ruby expert.
Experto. But yeah, like, I just want to talk about like things they've added. Like the Dex Nav is like very awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's got like the Poke Nav, which is the like.
Pokenav is like your Poke Gear, or like it looks.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Pokenav is the thing. The Dex Nav is
the specific little app on it that is the best app in the whole thing.
Yeah.
From your Pokenav, you can access all of the old, like all the
Super
player
Training, Pokemon and Me, all that stuff. Yeah.
All of that.
That's all there. But then there's other
more.
like pages. One is the Area Nav, which is like basically sort of like an interactive.
A better version of a map.
Yeah, it's like an interactive map, and then there's the Pokenav, which like is the coolest one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one is cool. Cool.
Yeah.
So let's see. Are we gonna talk about like the openings?
I want to talk about the Pokenav like for a minute. I just want to say like
Pokenav.
Yeah, it's like so cool. Like so basically what it is it's like a Pokemon detector, but it also
that's the Dex Nav.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
This is so annoying. The Dex Nav is
it's named after a show.
It's stupid. The app is the Dex Nav. Basically what it is
on your Pokenav.
Because one of the problems that I had with Gen 6 was that they didn't have, in X and Y, they didn't have like a good way for you to like kind of gamify completing the Pokedex. It was pretty much just like, do it.
Yeah, like in Black and White they had like, you finished the area, and then they took that away.
They give you like a little like, ding, you did it. But in this, it's like, yeah, you see like a little picture of the route or whatever area that you're on. It has like all the different terrain in the picture, so you know like, and then wherever the silhouettes are of the Pokemon is like what terrain it's gonna be.
Right.
And so then it's like, okay, you're walking around, so you know what Pokemon basically are in the area, and then it goes like, and you're like, what is that? And you see like a little guy. You see like a little buddy boy.
There's like a little like exclamation point, and you can either see it on your map or you can just see it down there.
Yeah.
You click that little thing and it's like, there's a Pokemon hiding somewhere, go get it. And you walk, you tiptoe, which is so funny. The tiptoeing is so funny.
Yeah, because they don't have skates in this one, so it's just like tiptoeing, and so you like kind of like nudge the circle pad.
And sometimes you see like a little tail wiggling in the grass, or you see like ears popping up, and it's vaguely the shape of the Pokemon that you're after. And once you get close enough, there'll be a silhouette of the Pokemon on the bottom screen, and it'll give a little bit of information about the Pokemon, which is great, and we'll get to that like in a second. But and then from there you can you can kind of like hunt out Pokemon. Even to the point where after you've already caught it, you can now like search for that specific Pokemon on that route if you're looking for, you know, a special one.
Yeah, and this is awesome because like it adds like moves sometimes, so you can get like egg moves on your Pokemon. You can get some like
hidden abilities
on the Pokemon that you catch. Apparently this is the way to chain for shinies in this game, allegedly, maybe
not confirmed.
Yeah,
but very likely.
I think it's sort of like the fan base is sort of figuring that out right now, but it seems like shiny hunting is somewhat connected to the Dex Snap in some way.
Right. And definitely the more times you search for the Pokemon, the better it will be, because for example, I was up in the route with the ash all over it. I was looking for a Skarmory. I was like, oh, I want a Skarmory. I've never played through a game with a Skarmory. And so I decided to like do some hunting for one. And I kept on searching for them. And there's this little thing called potential. It's like 1, 2, or 3 stars. I have never found a 3-star potential Pokemon, but I'm going to eventually. But like I would go through the grass, I would find my little Skarmory, and then like once it popped up with like the red exclamation point, that's the good stuff. You want the red exclamation points. I was like, it's got spikes. Yes. Oh yeah, and it's got a 2-star potential, so like its level was like, he was already leveled up with the Pokemon that I already had, so instead of having to like level him up, I caught him, I put him on my team, and we just moved on.
Yeah, it's a much more, it kind of like makes it feel more real, like, right? Like, it would be weird if, like, in a natural environment, all the Pokemon were like created equally.
Just exactly the same.
Yeah, but that's kind of how it is, almost, like, within a range of like 2 or 3 levels usually in like the routes and stuff like that. But in this, it's like you can actually, like, if you look hard, you can find like the alphas and stuff.
It is really cool. I do like that.
Yeah, there's like a little kind of like controlled cutscene thing in the beginning, and you for me it was some Poochyena.
Yeah, it's Poochyena for everyone.
Yeah, and mine had Firefang.
Mine did too. Mine had Firefang, but they could have.
Or no, mine had Thunderfang.
Mine had Firefang. Yeah, but they can also have Icefang too, which is cool.
That's so cool.
I named mine Entei.
Yeah, yeah, but that's like
he beat the Elite Four for me.
Entei?
Yeah,
that's great.
I took him all the way.
Spoilers! They don't know there's an Elite Four.
There's an Elite Four.
Oh, spoilers! Oh no. Yeah. What else? Is there anything else specific that we want to talk about? Like we'll get to contests when we
but we're not up
when
to
we
there
get
at
to
that
them
point yet. I just think it's great. The Brendan and May dynamic, I think, has been improved. They rewrote a lot of the dialogue. So
the game is like way funnier, way just like much more like interesting.
Whoever wrote it, props to them because they did a very good job.
Yeah, so. Like your mom is like a really cool character. Birch is a really fun character. May is like actually a character.
Brendan is actually a character.
Well, yeah, I played as Brendan and you played as May.
Brendan wants you as a girlfriend so bad.
Yeah.
It's so
I
sad.
feel it so much more in this
so
than
cute.
I did in with Serena.
Yeah, definitely.
But and then the last thing that I really wanted to talk about is the very intro of the game, which is like kind of infamous amongst Pokemon because it's like in the back of this moving truck. And you're like, what in the hell is this? But like, you know, you kind of like turn on the game and you're like, this just has the GBA graphics.
These are the old graphics. I was like, what is going on?
And then you kind of realize that it's not the GBA graphics because it's like something that you are actually
pan down and it's your character holding it, and you're like, oh, and then you're in the moving truck.
Yeah, but that actually is going to bring us to this week's mystery.
So today's mystery, guys, is centered around this like very small movement, moving down and panning away from your Game Boy or whatever it is that you're talking on, because that would mean that the graphics of the original Ruby and Sapphire are like canon as something in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like the sprites and the graphics that we played actually were made by someone
to exist in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah.
Cool, right?
Yeah. So
cool,
I don't know. Like, what do you think about that? Do you think that the whole game is canon? How far does it go? Were you communicating with Professor Birch, but it's like showing
let's talk about that first of all. Like, it's definitely like the opening of the game, but you are definitely as a character, like communicating with Professor Birch because he's like, okay, well, good job moving in. I can't wait to see you.
Right, he's like talking to you.
So he's like definitely talking to you, and so like.
Why are you in the back of a moving truck?
Because it's fun. You're a kid. You want to go in the moving truck.
Is that a thing? Okay,
yeah.
listen. Everyone around the world, weigh in the comments below. Let me know. Did you ever feel like you could, or that you wanted to, or that you did go around in a moving truck? Because that would be fun. Also,
that would be like the one thing as a kid that I'd want to do. Like, can I ride in the moving truck?
They would be like, no, you get crushed by the dresser. I don't know.
I guess that's true.
No, you're gonna get car sick and barf all over our clothes. I don't know.
Well, maybe my parents were just more accepting.
if you live in Japan, or you have good contact with someone in Japan, I would love to hear a Japanese perspective on this as well, because maybe it's some sort of cultural thing. I have never heard of this. It seems super dangerous.
It just seems like a fun thing for a kid to do.
In Jackass, they like get inside of a moving truck and like drive it around because of how much chaos occurs inside the movie. Granted, they're on roller skates inside of there.
Okay, well that's completely different.
But I mean that just ratchets it up. I think that it's weird. But back to the mystery. Back to the mystery. GBA game in the game. So what do we think? What do we think about this?
Well, it seems to be part of your Pokénap system. So so based on that, maybe it's just like the avatars of the Pokénap system, or you can like customize your own little sprite in that world. Like almost as if like you were on like AIM or Skype or something like that, and you had like a little pixelated. I mean, we have pixelated versions of ourselves.
But they just
we
have pixelated versions of ourselves because we're mimicking the art from the video game.
And then maybe in turn we're mimicking the way that those people interact with themselves when they communicate.
Okay, well let me ask you this, for example. Let me ask you this. So like in actual Gen 3, right?
Yeah.
There's no Mega Evolutions. There's no Primal Reversions. There's none of that stuff. You know? Like, the story is slightly different. What if it's, like, some kind of thing that was made after the fact that's, like, a game about being...
In a Pokemon trainer?
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely solid. That's been a thing since, like, the very first... Because, like, I mean, you wake up in your house in red version and there's an NES there. So there's video games in the Pokemon world for sure. And then when you go to Pokemon centers, there's people holding Game Boys being like, do you want to trade me? Yeah, I want to trade you. And then they trade. And so, like, not only is Pokemon a real thing in the Pokemon world, but there's also Pokemon games in the Pokemon world. So I think
that's so weird to me.
I think it'd be awesome. Like, if you were someone, like, sickly or small, like Wally, for example, and you were like, I sure love Pokemon, but I can never have one.
You go on a journey like Wally does. We can't spoil. We can't spoil.
We're not gonna spoil it. But like you know, some Pokemon aren't for everyone. Yeah. Not everyone has a Pokemon. So like maybe like if you're not ready for Pokemon, or if maybe if you're like a little too young for it, or your
does everyone have a Pokemon?
A lot of people have Pokemon. Anyone can have a Pokemon, but some people just like don't.
Well, okay, like Looker, for example.
Yes.
He like doesn't have a Pokemon, and it's like super weird that he doesn't. Like.
No, it's
not like right, but I'm saying like he's like, I don't have a Pokemon, and everybody's like, what? So I feel like having a Pokemon is like almost like
pretty integral.
Yeah, like you know, like
most people do, but like some people.
Yeah, like don't. But I mean, it's like almost like the Golden Compass or something, where it's like you have a Pokemon.
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, I love the Golden Compass.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good book series. You guys should read that.
But yeah, like so this is the thing that I'm thinking.
Like, I mean, like Looker doesn't have a Pokemon for like very
personal reasons.
Personal reasons.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, is it a game? Like, is that a thing? Like, because there's like, if you're playing as Brendan or May in a game about the time that they like, you know, went on this journey and saved the world, yada yada yada. Like, does anybody ever talk to you? Like, is there some situation where like some conversation Brendan's having with a lawyer, with like Finn Fendo, who's like doing this type of thing, and how do they decide the mechanics, and why do the mechanics work exactly like they do in the game?
I don't know, man. It's a mystery.
But the fact is that art is in-game canon artwork now.
Right.
Which is interesting, and maybe we'll see some sprites. What do you think? Like, do you think that sprites will sort of make a comeback?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I think that was maybe... I mean, I think, to be honest, we're going to step back from, like, the world of Pokemon and, like, go from a designer's perspective. I really think that it was probably for, like, a nostalgia perspective.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, like, okay, like, for example, like, the route images are not necessarily actually images from the GBA game. Because sometimes, like, you can't get all of the terrain in one picture. So they, like, made new sprite art. Or, like, when you load your game and you go to the load game screen, you see like the old sprite from Gen 3. So I'm wondering if maybe like, you know, much in the way that like Nintendo has sort of like made all the different versions of Mario current, sort of. I don't know how to describe it. Like if you look at Mario Maker, like that's coming out for the Wii U, it's like you see the like Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, you can do it in the different
graphics,
like, art
Super
styles.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're gonna like polish up and do like, here's what sprite Pokemon look like now. And like this is like a huge stretch, but sometimes on our podcast we talk about this like idea of having there be a battle simulator like in the game. And it would be really cool if like the battle simulator used sprites instead of the 3D graphics.
Oh, that would be.
Just because like you can't like use real life in a video game within a video game. I don't know.
Well, you know what that reminded me of was when you said about Mario Maker. I think maybe the thing that I like best about having graphics that are stylized, so stylized like most Nintendo games are, is that like later you can make those like a stylistic choice instead, because like,
dude, Wind Waker,
I mean, like what's a realistic video game from like a long time ago, like GoldenEye, like like now, like you can't like play that and be like, what excellent art, because it wasn't made. It was made to look as real as possible. It wasn't made to look.
Yeah, it looks like it really looks dated now.
Yeah, so it looks dated, but then
versus Wind Waker, which is like beautiful,
like timeless. And now like you can go back to the old Pokemon sprites and be like, yeah, they're just like that style.
Yeah,
and
that's how I feel about like Yoshi's Story 2, all that stuff. But I don't know. It's interesting to think about, like, who made the sprites? Is there a video game? Like, are there video game companies? Game Freak exists, right?
Yeah.
So
Game Freak exists in Pokemon.
What do? They make Pokemon games?
I mean, like, yeah, I guess. But then again, like, if we're gonna go way meta, they like say like, I drew you. So like, I don't know, and that I want to get into much later because that's not even till way the end of the game. So we're not going to talk about that.
Unless what if those games up until Gen 6, what if all the games are like games made after the fact? What if that's how they make, like, how they rationalize everything?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, it seems possible, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
What do you guys think? Do you think the existence of Pokemon games in the world, like, what do you think it all means?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a broad question, but
weigh in the comments. Let us know what you think about the GBA games being canonized sort of in the game. Normally we would follow this part up with a Q&A, but this is the first one, obviously, and you didn't know it was coming until now, so leave your questions in the comment section below. Check out our podcast. Check out patreon.com/thatonevideogamer if you want to support us. Sign up for our Loot Crate at lootcrate.com/thenationaldex. Use coupon code TheNationalDex. That'll save you some money and help us out. I'm Alex.
I'm Kellz.
And we're going to be doing this every week, so we'll see you.
Yeah.
Bye.